Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. We get to start today with some incredible news. Kentucky setting another milestone, breaking another record, and this one is all about how many Kentuckians are employed and in secure jobs today. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in their federal survey of business establishments, Kentucky, for the first time, has over 2 million individuals employed and in good jobs. Uh, the number that the record that we have set, this is the most Kentuckians ever employed, is 2,009,500. That is 56,700 more jobs than in November of 2019, meaning since we started this journey together. We have added 56,700 additional jobs, even while we dealt with a pandemic and tornadoes and flooding and a polar plunge and 2 ice storms and a historic windstorm and so much more. This is really exciting news, having never had more than 2 million Kentuckians employed at one time. This is a result of the efforts of people in every single one of our communities, ensuring that we are attracting good jobs, training our people, all of our public school educators, and everything that they do to prepare Kentuckians for the workforce. What a banner day. If you think about this, more Kentuckians employed than ever before. Last year, setting the lowest annual unemployment rate in our history. Last month, setting the lowest monthly unemployment rate in our history. Having the longest period of low unemployment. The second and third best year for wages. The 2 best years for economic development, going on a third. Kentucky's economy is humming. It's exciting. And this is our best chance to turn our brain drain into a brain gain. Make sure we never lose our talented young people to any other state ever again, but instead, other states' talented young people start moving to Kentucky. Our goal is to make sure that we can bring this type of excitement to every region of the state with absolutely no area of our state or even of our cities or of our towns left out. This is right now, more jobs out there, secure jobs for Kentuckians than ever before. It's an exciting time to be a Kentuckian in this economy. Since I took office, we've now announced 860 private sector and new location expansion projects totaling over $26.6 billion in new investments that's helped drive this job creation. From explosive growth in our manufacturing sector to crucial site development efforts that are laying the groundwork for future growth, Kentucky's economy is emerging as a national powerhouse. And if the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics didn't convince you, just think about Fitch ratings. Fitch is one of the major bond rating agencies and just gave us our first bond rating upgrade in Fitch's history, and the first one that we have seen in the last 13 years. And what they said, Kentucky's economy is surging and our fiscal house is in order. What this means is we're going to pay a whole lot less in borrowing for big projects like the Brent Spence Companion Bridge, the I-69 River Crossing, and 4-laning the Mountain Parkway all the way to Prestonsburg. Fitch also said that the upgrade is based on vastly improved pensions in our state. Protecting pensions for law enforcement, firefighters, teachers, social workers, every state, city, and county employee, that is our obligation because those are promises that we made to the people who sacrifice for us every day. Pensions are a promise, and they should never be broken or put at risk. I'm proud to announce that because of the improved fiscal management of our team, recommendations we made that the legislature took, putting extra dollars into the pensions when we've had these extra dollars, that together we've ensured that the pensions of every teacher, firefighter, police officer, and others in Kentucky are safer than they have been in decades. Just think about where we've come from just not that many years ago when a previous administration tried to cut those promised pensions, and today more secure than they have been in a long time. I believe that's us as Kentuckians keeping our promise. All right, to the next bit of good news. Today, I can report that not only have we secured all of the dollars the last administration provided to the Brady Project, but we have now secured all of the property, having been returned to the Northeast Kentucky Regional Industrial Authority, and we have even closed on the extra property that that company had purchased outside of any agreements with the state. So last week, the Northern Kentucky Regional Industrial Authority closed on the site acquisition of more than 240 acres in the East Park Industrial Park, finalizing the process of acquiring everything that was there for that supposed project. There was donated land that the company provided back, and we are grateful for that. Um, and we fought to get that land back. Coming in, I would have never thought that we could secure both the money and the land, but we are now at a special place where we can have a real project, real hope, and real jobs. And we have one of the bigger sites in the Commonwealth to put it on. I'm excited to say $750,000 in state support for the $1.5 million initiative that purchased all this extra property was our very first KPDI, Kentucky Project Development Fund, to be completed. That is a $100 million initiative passed by the General Assembly after we sat down and talked about different ways that it could work. In March, the Industrial Authority and the Greenup County Fiscal Court were approved for the KPDI project in partnership with Boyd, Carter, Elliott, and Lawrence counties. All these counties came together to make this application. It's a true example of regionalism, of knowing how important this site is and that it would benefit everyone. And we are seeing that type of cooperation among our local and our county officials today at a level that I can't ever recall, and all of our communities are better for it. Now, with state support, we can move forward with efforts to attract one or more quality employers that we can put on this land. So a big win. It took us a while to secure it, but boy, the way we're attracting companies right now, this is going to end up being a really big win when we're announcing those new jobs. On to a couple major groundbreakings we celebrated this past week. Last Friday, I joined local officials and leadership from InFact North America to break ground on the company's expansion in Campbellsville, a $53 million investment that's going to create 220 new Kentucky jobs. InFact is an automotive manufacturer that specializes in cables, antennas, horns, actuators, and electric vehicle battery system assemblies. This expansion is being driven by the Blue Oval battery park, that largest investment in our history that we were able to secure. This is just one example of how it's not just bringing in new companies, it's providing for the expansion of existing companies. And this is the second expansion by InFact since they came to Campbellsville in 2008 under Governor Steve Beshear. Now, after 2008, they very quickly outgrew the initial space in Taylor County, and they'd added an additional 110,000 square foot assembly, manufacturing, and warehouse facility in 2013. With the latest expansion, they're adding another 125,000 square feet. And since their establishment in Campbellsville nearly 15 years ago, they have been a key contributor to our manufacturing sector. And now they are going to play a major role in supporting Kentucky being the EV capital of the United States of America. I want to thank InFact's leadership. On the far end, that is their international CEO. I want to thank him for coming to the groundbreaking. It's a lot of travel, but it shows their commitment to us and our commitment to them. InFact wasn't the only big manufacturing win we celebrated. Just yesterday, I had the opportunity to join leaders and fifth generation family-owned company called Osmondson Manufacturing Company to break ground on new facilities in Mayfield and Graves County. These are 80 new jobs, part of about 750 new jobs we've announced in Graves County since that tornado hit. Jobs are the lifeblood of a community. They will get people to move to a community, but also to stay in a community. And these 80 jobs, as part of those 750, is how we know that Mayfield's not only going to rebuild, but it's going to have a bright future. I will tell you that this was an emotional groundbreaking. Heather, the CEO, had brought her family, and what a great experience in a place like Kentucky where family means so much to us. She gets the gravity of what this means to the community. And let me tell you, this is going to be an incredible marriage between Graves County and this company. They're headquartered in Perry, Iowa, founded in 1903. They make disc blades for agriculture and construction industries, and they even bought a little extra property that we hope at some time after we get them up and running that we can convince them to expand. But this is going to be a long-term Team Kentucky partnership. And after having been in Mayfield at first light, the morning after the tornado, staring at a candle factory where the roof was on the ground, cars were on top of it, we thought 100 people were trapped in it. We prayed for days like this, announcing new jobs and new hope. And I'm really grateful to this company and their CEO for bringing it to us. We said prayers, and they were truly answered. In addition to these amazing site development and company projects, I'm proud to announce, though it's been out there, that the Cincinnati Northern Kentucky International Airport, which is on our side of the river, has some exciting news this week. On Monday, CVG Airport welcomed its 14th passenger airline as British Airways completed its first ever flight with nonstop service from London Heathrow Airport. The flight will now operate 5 times per week in the summer and 4 in the winter. And that means that travelers from CVG can connect to more than 70 countries and nearly 200 destinations with British Airways. The flight will be the only nonstop service from Kentucky, Ohio, or Indiana to the United Kingdom. I want to congratulate CVG and British Airways on their inaugural flight, and this is going to be a big deal that'll make a big impact in years to come. Now on to a little bit of reporting and some announcements on discretionary road funding. Our roads are what connect us. I made it a priority as governor to improve our roads so that Kentucky can get to work, to school, and to church safely. Whether you're riding on a rural back road or a major highway, you want your trip to be safe and smooth. And today we get to present awards that make that possible. Before showing those awards, in total, I think we've presented $58.8 million in discretionary funding under all the programs in the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. And today, I get to show a map showing that every single Kentucky county has received funding from at least one of those programs. As you can see on here, we have 3 major types of discretionary funding that go through the Department of Rural and Municipal Aid. That's Bobby Joe Lewis that helps run that. And we've made it a priority to make sure that we include everyone, leave no one out, no red or blue on this map, as you can see, just making sure that everybody has been able to move at least some of their projects forward. So today, we're adding to that by announcing more than $4.4 million in funding to 46 projects in 29 counties. We have representatives from 5 of those counties here with us today that are going to tell us a little bit about their projects to give some meaning to the numbers and what this investment truly means to people around the Commonwealth, how it will improve the lives of our families. First, we have a check for $18,000 for Wolfe County. These funds will be used to install guardrails on Russell Road and Turnip Road, and that'll protect motorists and school buses from the steep drop-offs on these curvy, narrow roads. I know we have Judge Raymond Banks here with us today. If you and anybody else you'd like to bring up would please accept this check. All right. Looks like it's you and me. You and me. Shortage you a little, 18,600. I appreciate you. Looking this way, right there. All right. You want to mention anything about the road?
Yeah. This road, these school buses come up and down is really dangerous. And this means a lot to Wolfe County. When the buses come up and down, they could easily go over and get killed. And also a road fixing the Mountain Parkway over there is a lifeline from Pikeville to Lexington. So I'm really pleased that he's come out here to help us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we are going to get all that Mountain Parkway 4-laned here soon. Next, we have a check for over $122,000 for Fleming County. These funds will be used to replace the Branch Brothers Bridge and to make it safer for residents who use this bridge as a school bus route and for farming operations. We got my friend Judge John Sims here with us today to accept the check. All right, want to mention the project? Sure, yeah. Please.
First, I want to thank the Governor Beshear, Senior Advisor Rocky Atkins, Rural Road Commissioner Bobby Joe Lewis, and also Secretary Jim Gray for all their help in Fleming County. We are known as the covered bridge capital of the world. So we have some projects slated later this fall to repair some of those covered bridges. Plus, this bridge will help those families that live on Branch Brothers Road, and we appreciate all the help.
That's great. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. All right, next we have $405,000 for Breathitt County. Funds will be used to resurface nearly 3 miles on Miller Branch Barwick Road. This aging road is used daily by school buses and emergency vehicles, and once complete, they will have a smoother, faster ride to make sure that everybody either gets to school safe or gets to that hospital on time. We have Judge Jeff Noble here with us today. It's a big check.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Want to mention how you're going to use
I
it?
do. This project is a project that's been needed for years, really. And I'll never forget the trip that previous Maastricht Roy Darrell Hurl. This was the last project that he had ever got to be part of. We actually went down to Secretary Gray office and met with Bobby Joe, and they started working right then. And I guess when they looked at it, scored a 10 out of 10. But I can't say enough about our governor. I mean, I've always said it. He don't just talk it; he does it, and he's been a blessing to Breathitt County. And we just kind of got left out in the field, so to speak, until he came aboard. And it's just a blessing that I can't thank. And I know I wish Roy there could be here. Actually, when we left that office, he's looked and he said, "You think we're getting any money for that?" And I said, "I really do." And you really made it happen, and I appreciate that.
Thanks, Judge.
Sure.
Good to see you. Last, we have a little over $144,000 for Bracken County. These funds will be used to resurface over 2 miles of Moore Road. This road has 14 homes on it and was last paved over 20 years ago. Fresh road surface will make a noticeable difference for drivers who use it daily. We've got Judge Tina Teagarden here with us today. If you join me to accept the check. All right. Talk about your project?
Sure. For being a small county, Bracken County, we always appreciate the assistance that we can get to maintain our infrastructure, our roadways within our county. As the governor has stated, there are 14 homes on this road. It is a very active farming community. This is in our Milford district. One of the outgoing magistrates had worked very diligently to try to get assistance on this, and the incoming magistrate worked as hard as the past. So we just would like to thank the governor's office, Governor Beshear, Senior Advisor Rocky Atkins, Bobby Joe, Commissioner of Rural Municipal Aids. This assistance is vital for small counties to be able to provide our safe roadways for our citizens in Bracken County. And myself and the fiscal court is greatly appreciative.
Thank you. Judge, in a little bit, I think we've got another award for you. Help improve your community. Next, I'm excited to share an announcement from our Recreational Trails program. Kentucky is a beautiful place, and these awards help make sure our families get outside and make amazing memories together. There are also trails that bring people in from all over the country and all over the globe. Tourism is not only what helps drive some of our economies, but it's also what introduces people to Kentucky. And with all these jobs that we just showed, we need more people moving here than ever before. So these investments are important. Today, we're highlighting 11 great projects, and I'm excited to have some special guests with us today. Let's start with Menifee County. They'll be using $200,000 to improve horse and hiking trails near Cave Run Lake. I know we've got Judge Rick Stiltner here today. If you join me to accept the check. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Governor.
This is a big one. Yeah, you're welcome. You want to brag on your county?
I do.
All right.
Governor, I want to say we appreciate, Menifee County appreciates, and the fiscal courts appreciates this money. It'll go to improve our trails and equestrian trails in our area, along with the Forest Service. We'll be working closely with the Forest Service to improve those. And as the governor said, tourism for Menifee County, we got to have it. And these trails are overgrown, and we need to get them cut back so that folks can use them and use them safely. And the governor, I want to thank you. I want to thank Commissioner Keene from DLG and those folks that sit on the Recreational Trails Committee who recommended that Menifee County receive this money. Again, thank you, Governor.
Thank you. All right. Next, we have some good news from Muhlenberg County and the city of Greenville. They'll be using $55,000 to extend the Muhlenberg County Rails to Trails by an additional mile. So today we've got Muhlenberg County Judge Executive Mac McGehee. Would you join us and accept this check, Judge? Congratulations. All right. Want to talk about the trail?
Yes.
Please.
First, I'd like to thank you, Governor, for supporting this project.
Sir.
We have a trail that was put on an old railroad bed that runs from Greenville through Powderly all the way to Central City. It's used every day. We're going to extend this trail and connect it to our athletic park, Ray Jones Athletic Park. And that'll take it all the way to the high school. So it'll be a great project for our community and for tourism in Muhlenberg County.
All right.
Thank you.
And y'all are making great progress on the airport project too.
Yes, we are.
It's exciting. Mayor Greenville could not be here with us today, but I want to thank him as well for his work on this. Next, we're going to spotlight a project in Powell County. They'll be using $245,000 to make improvements to the Hollerwood Off-Road Park. This will make the park more accessible and improve parking. So we'd invite back Powell County Judge Executive Eddie Barnes to join us. We didn't want to make you come for just one.
Hey, I appreciate it.
This is Tim Snowden.
Hey, Tim. Thanks. All right. Want to talk about it?
Sure. Thank you, Governor Beshear. Everything that we've gotten, it's been gracious of you. Our Hollerwood Park, it's about 1,000 acres of off-road ATV, UTV trails. And with this money here, we can increase the trails, upgrade them, and bring a lot more tourism into Powell County. And again, without you and the state of Kentucky, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
In total, over $1 million are going to improve trails across Kentucky. Each project is highlighted in the release today. They're up on the screen, and the projects go to the Federal Highway Administration for final review. We have a really good track record on these. Exciting that we will be doing all of these projects. So the next is on what we call our rubber mulch projects, but talk about turning what was waste into something useful that helps our communities. So every year we get to award grant funding for projects across the Commonwealth that use rubber mulch to build walkways, playgrounds, benches, and picnic tables. The funding helps us build safe places in communities for our children and families to enjoy the outdoors and time together, exercising, celebrating birthdays, or if you're my family, watching your son play baseball or your daughter in equestrian events. So this funding comes from the Energy and Environment Cabinet's Waste Tire Trust Fund. 5 million scrap tires are generated in Kentucky each year. So these rubber mulch projects are a great way to use these recycled tires and reduce overall waste. I'm pleased to announce this year 16 counties will be receiving $580,000 in grants. The list of counties is on the screen next to me, but we've got a couple folks here today that are included. First, Bracken County is receiving a check for $67,000 for their recycled tire project. So I'd invite back up Judge Teagarden and County Solid Waste Coordinator Jimmy Arthur, Transportation Planner Melissa Hardy, and Magistrate Heather Brumley to join us and accept this check. Anybody you want to bring up? Anybody want to mention how you're going to use the money? Okay.
It's funding such as this that will open doors for opportunity for smaller counties like Bracken County. Opportunities to promote the health and wellness of our citizens in our county by providing a walking track. Opportunities of providing handicap accessibility to our fishing lakes. Handicap accessibility to our swings that we put down by our lakes for every man, woman, and child. Opportunities for our local 4-H to have a youth fishing club. The opportunities just keep going and going and going. Bracken County would like to thank Governor Beshear and his staff, the Energy Cabinet, Division of Waste Management. Most of all, Lisa Evans, thank you so much for guiding us through the grant process. Buffalo Trace, Melissa Hardy. We had solid waste coordinator Jimmy Arthur, and everyone has gotten together as a team up to the governor's office and spent many hours on projects like this. Myself and the Bracken County Fiscal Court are beyond grateful that our state teams up with us to provide these types of opportunities for our counties. Thank you.
Absolutely. And as we look into the future, the Augusta Distillery in Bracken County, what a special tourist draw that's going to be. Just a beautiful project. I think it's the only distillery that's going to have its own riverboat that's going to take people out. So really exciting to see that project as it continues. Next, Powell County is receiving $24,000 for their rubber mulch project. So I'd invite Judge Barnes back up along with County Solid Waste Coordinator Tim Snowden. Either of you want to mention the project? Okay. Yes, sir.
I tried to get him to do it. He wouldn't do it. But thank you again for the money. Basically, what we're going to be using this for is putting benches and tables up around our schools, parks, courthouse, and helping a little bit with our recycling program. And, it's a big help. And we do appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Finally, Taylor County is receiving $24,000 from the Waste Tire Trust Fund. Today, we have Judge Barry Smith and County Solid Waste Coordinator Debbie McNear. Good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
Hadn't been that long.
No, exciting.
Yes. All right. Want to mention the project?
Governor, thank you so much for these needed funds. We have built a new splash pad at our Veterans Park, new pavilion, and these are going to put benches so the parents and grandparents can sit on while they watch their children play on our splash pad, and plus also some picnic tables for under the pavilion. And we just want to thank you very much for your generosity, and was glad to see you last Friday.
Yes.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. That was Judge got to join us, or I got to join him at that groundbreaking. This is going to enrich experiences for those new employees, their families, another draw to bring people in. Thank you to all of our local officials that have joined us today. And then we're going to have a couple more here in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about a Medicaid rate adjustment that's going to help us take care of our seniors here in Kentucky. I believe healthcare is a basic human right. It's crucial for the well-being of our children and families, and certainly our most vulnerable Kentuckians. We have a duty to make sure those who need in-home care, community-based care, and long-term care get the services they need and the services they deserve. And we don't stop there. We're making sure they have access to the best care possible. Our healthcare heroes also need support as they provide compassionate care. That's why I am proud to announce additional support for providers delivering home and community-based services, as well as long-term care services for some of our most vulnerable Kentuckians. We all know the pandemic greatly impacted all of our healthcare providers. So the funding that we have available, we are using to adjust rates paid to provide them some needed financial relief. We're doing this through Medicaid rate adjustments, which are adjusted for inflation every year. The increase makes up for the underestimated inflationary increases provided in the last 3 years. For home and community-based providers, a retroactive rate adjustment will provide an estimated $13 million in payments for services delivered January 1st, 2022 to May 1st of this year. In total, providers have already received $182 million, including $41 million in state share funds as part of the increased reimbursements for this period. Home and community-based providers will continue to receive increased rates through June 30th, 2024, and we're considering a permanent change in those rates. To assist long-term care nursing, they will see an increase of $99.6 million over the next fiscal year, which ends June 30th, 2024. This increase will provide some interim financial relief for organizations that take care of our parents and our grandparents. And right now they need our help, and we need to be there for them. Now, someone who is very instrumental in this has sent a video today to show why this is so important. Here's a message from my friend John Mueller, Chief Operating Officer for CareSpring in Northern Kentucky.
Greetings. My name is John Mueller from Fort Thomas, Kentucky. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of CareSpring Healthcare Management, which provides resources and support to skilled nursing facilities here in Northern Kentucky. And I also serve on the Board of Directors for the Kentucky Association of Healthcare Facilities. Grateful to be with you today and take a moment to thank Governor Beshear, Secretary Friedlander, and the members of the team that worked on this year's Kentucky Skilled Nursing Facility Medicaid rate. We're very grateful that you were able to come up with an innovative solution that provides much needed funds for our facilities, as well as being a good steward of the Medicaid budget. So as you each know, nursing facilities were on the front lines of the COVID pandemic. The last number of years have been very, very difficult. And as we're coming out of the pandemic, the aftershock is the workforce challenges that we're facing. Every other sector in healthcare has recovered to pre-pandemic levels, except home health, but nursing facilities are lagging far behind on catching up in workforce. These much needed funds will go a long way for the residents we serve that live in our facilities, as well as the team members that we need to retain and the new ones we need to recruit. We need to build the workforce for tomorrow in caregiving. And we really appreciate the governor's collaboration, secretary's collaboration. We've had a task force at the Kentucky Association of Healthcare Facilities and providers across the state that have been able to talk with you, work with you, and we appreciate the collaboration coming up with this solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, John. This is a good day for providers, particularly nursing facilities and waiver services. We know the workforce challenges that are out there. It's a tremendously difficult field to attract healthcare workers that'll make it safer, make it better for our folks who are in long-term care, both nursing facilities and waiver programs. So I'm glad we're able to do this for them today. And Governor, thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Secretary Eric Friedlander from our Cabinet for Health and Family Services. Next, I want to take a moment to highlight our Kentucky Main Street program. Kentucky's downtown areas are rich with art and culture. Our main streets make each community unique, and they're the heart of our small towns, and I believe that we have the best main streets, the best downtowns in each and every one of our counties than anywhere else in this country. The Kentucky Main Street program works to keep our downtown areas thriving through the preservation of historic buildings, support of local businesses, redevelopment of commercial buildings, and economic development. This important program, which is a part of the Kentucky Heritage Council, has helped create significant growth for our main streets. In 2022 alone, the program brought $45.9 million in new investments to our downtown commercial districts. This total represents $16.3 million in private investments matched by $31.7 million in public improvements, including building rehabilitation, new construction, infrastructure, and special projects. Also in 2022, we saw more than 580 new jobs created in our historic downtowns. We also saw 130 new businesses and more than 200 rehabilitation projects. Today, I want to take a minute to highlight just one of those projects. In 2021, the city of Scottsville implemented First Fridays on the Square. Under this program, on the first Friday of each month, historic downtown Scottsville transforms into a special marketplace featuring local entertainment, craft, vendors, and artisans. This initiative began with the goal of increasing activity in the historic district, and they started with a $50 budget. In this program's second season last year, 18 merchants participated, 31 nonprofit and civic organizations served as partners, and 90 small businesses from across the region took part. With First Fridays on the Square, thousands of local and regional visitors flocked to downtown Scottsville, putting tens of thousands of dollars into the local economy each month. Due to the event's success, Scottsville was awarded a $50,000 grant from the Laura Goad Turner Charitable Foundation for the 2023 season. First Fridays also provide local teens with leadership development opportunities through an internship program. One of the interns, 17-year-old Allie Costello, was recently appointed market manager for the Allen County Farmers Market, making her one of the youngest market managers in the state as a result of her involvement in this program. The event series has brought so much prosperity to the city of Scottsville, and I hear the 2023 season is already breaking records for vendor participation and guests. Here with us today, we have Scottsville leaders who made this possible. Mayor David Birch, who also served as the former Main Street Director, and the current Main Street Director, Hannah Brooks. Would you all please come on up here and brag a little bit on your programs? Congratulations on your success. Congratulations. Please.
Thank you, Governor Beshear, for this opportunity to do some bragging, quite frankly, about Scottsville's Main Street program. The Heart of Scottsville, as our Main Street program is called, has been instrumental in the revival of our downtown district. In a big city, the downtown matters, but it is one place of many where things happen. In a small town like Scottsville, the success of the city itself is most clearly measured by the vitality of its downtown. Every day, literally, much of the population of Scottsville and Allen County pass through our city square. It is the heart of Scottsville. Certainly, it is important that businesses thrive, but it is also important that the residents of an area are aware of and encouraged by what is happening in their town. Morale matters. And the Heart of Scottsville speaks to both material improvement and public confidence. What has our Main Street program done to date? It has forged a strong partnership with and among businesses, brought our farmers market to the square, created an internship program, as Governor Beshear mentioned, ensuring its continuance and making it relevant to a younger generation, partnered with the Laura Goad Turner Charitable Foundation for this current season, helping lay the groundwork for a potential Dollar General museum and destination point. Certainly, First Fridays have been its greatest success to date. Hannah patterned it after similar programs, but gave it a Scottsville twist. Her idea to have a locally popular and relevant theme for each Friday has been the key to its success. As you heard from Governor Beshear, it began with a $50 budget in 2021, with a $7,000 budget in 2022, and is a whole new ballgame with a partnership with the Laura Goad Turner Charitable Foundation for the 2023 season. All this has been done while preserving and enhancing the historic character of our downtown space. The program has built on pride in our past to form hope for our future. All these programs, organized and implemented by the Heart of Scottsville, provide a sense of ownership for our community. We are all vested in the improvement and success of our downtown in a way that was not true before we walked the streets and visited with hundreds of our neighbors gathered around that square every month from April to December. And I haven't even mentioned the shopping that takes place. None of this, from my experience, would have been possible without the vision and guidance of Kitty Do Good, who is the director of the Kentucky Main Street program, as you mentioned, Craig Potts, the Kentucky Heritage Council, Allen County Judge Executive Dennis Harper, and most especially, Heart of Scottsville Director Hannah Brooks. This is a personal mission for Hannah, and she is currently working tirelessly to make our city better. I have one audible. My wife's nervous. I can tell she's nervous when I get off track. EarthCam is a worldwide network. I'm shamelessly plugging EarthCam. And you can go and look at anywhere in the world. The Scottsville Main Street program, the square, is on the EarthCam network. I think there's only one city in Kentucky besides us. It's Hyden, Kentucky, is on this network. But if you want to take a look at our square on the first Fridays, take a look at EarthCam. Thank you, Governor Beshear, for your recognition and support of the Kentucky Main Street program. It has made a difference for Scottsville. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Beautifully done. I think everybody today has been able to see what strong local leadership we have all over our state, from east to west and everywhere in between. One of the pleasures of my time as governor is working with our judges, our mayors, everybody who's out there just trying to make a better life for everyone. And it doesn't get caught up in what's going on in Washington, D.C. on a daily basis, not worried about red or blue, not worried about right or left, but just moving forward for all of our people. Think about all these investments today and how they just help everyone. And we have an opportunity to do that every day. And I hope that's where our state continues to focus. And that's where I hope our country will start to focus. We have today a preview for our Juneteenth event. On Monday, June 19th, we'll join together in our Capitol Rotunda to recognize Juneteenth. This is an important day in our history as Americans, one where we stand united in acknowledging the end of our nation's greatest injustice, a day where we honor the strength and courage of African Americans and the contributions they made to our country. And while we've made progress, we must acknowledge we still have a long way to go. We must never hide from our history, even the parts that are painful. We must learn from it to create a better tomorrow. So on Monday, June 19th, I will once again sign a proclamation officially naming June 19th, 2023 as Juneteenth in our Commonwealth, just as I've done every year since taking office. I'll also continue to push for this day to be recognized as a state holiday, as so many other states have done so. Scripture tells us the Lord has told us what is good. What he requires of us is this: to do what is just, to show constant love, and to live in humble fellowship with our God. I know we've got a great deal of work to do, so let's keep working together, living out our faith, and trying to do the right thing each and every day. Okay, a quick update on Eastern and Western Kentucky rebuilding. So today, a pretty exciting day. We have 5 Kentucky families who are relocating to a more permanent housing solution, which means in Eastern Kentucky. The Commonwealth Sheltering Program is officially under the 100 households sheltered in the program. This means people are finding stability, long-term options, and we are now down to just 98 households that we are sheltering. 93 of those are on trailers in trailers on our commercial locations, while 8 are on private locations. 284 households have now transitioned out. We were able to provide that intermediate housing, but again, now are in more stable situations. 4 people are still sheltering in one hotel, 14 people in state parks. That's down from 360 on September 1. FEMA, do not stop pushing your claim. And this news today should give everyone the reasons why. FEMA's now approved more than $107.1 million in individual assistance grants. That is an increase of $523,268 from our last update. Dollars are still being paid out. It's taken far too long, but do not give up. Keep working with our MARC groups and others. Keep pushing that claim. We continue to also see approvals come in through the FEMA buyout program. As of this week, over $31.4 million in FEMA awards. Those are for people that live in the flood zone that we need to move out. FEMA purchases that property to help people relocate. This is the fastest this program has ever gone. Normally it takes a year to 2 years. It's just taken months. This is an example where Kentucky pushing, and thankfully DC listening, has let us cut red tape, not just for Kentuckians, but for all Americans in subsequent natural disasters. These awards These awards include 183 properties from Perry County, the city of Jackson, Breathitt County, Letcher County, Knott County, and Floyd County. As of today, Team Eastern Kentucky Relief Fund, $13.2 million raised. We've provided over $4.4 million in disbursements directly to families. Those are both dollars immediately that we provided to help with basic needs, as well as paying for every single funeral, for every single individual that we lost in those floods. We've already committed $1.1 million for building new homes and home repairs with the Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky, the Housing Development Alliance, and Homes, Inc. We've announced the donation of multiple pieces of land for high ground communities. And boy, I think real soon, we're going to have a lot of additional news that's there. We're working real hard to unlock in record time the $300+ million in what's called CDBG DR, disaster recovery funds, that are going to help us rebuild. And so just like it takes a little while to get ramped up for the cleanup, it takes a little bit of time to get ramped up for the very large scale rebuilding. But folks, it is coming. I'm excited about the dollars that are going to be there. We're going to build entirely new communities, re-envision what those neighborhoods can look like. It will take years. I mean, the damage that we saw eliminated decades of infrastructure, eliminated homes that had been in families for decades. But what we have a chance to do moving forward can benefit us for the decades to come. So more news here soon. And our Team Kentucky All-Stars are our women veterans. This coming Monday, June 12th, is Women's Veterans Day, a time where we recognize and honor the tremendous sacrifices these heroes have made. We've officially recognized this day with a proclamation in the Commonwealth. Women have served our country for generations, although unfortunately it was not until after World War II that women were able to serve as permanent members of the armed forces and thus be recognized as veterans. Women have played a crucial role in protecting our freedoms and our future, and we as Americans should give thanks for their bravery, their sacrifice, their courage, and their commitment to this country. It has been a priority for me during my time in office to recognize and celebrate these brave women. And now, if you'd like to learn more about the stories of these women, you can visit the new exhibit at the Kentucky Historical Society. Beginning June 13th, Our Stories, Our Service, Kentucky Women Veterans will be on display, honoring Kentucky's women veterans and their significant military contributions. These stories are a part of our country, and it's important that we share them. Ahead of Monday and the opening of this new exhibit, I'm proud to name women veterans as today's Team Kentucky All-Stars. Thank you for your service. The freedom that we enjoy as Americans is based on your sacrifice, on your willingness to step between our families and danger, recognizing that by doing so, you might not make it back to your family. We are grateful. We should celebrate you more than just one day, and we're working to do that. But please know you have the thanks of this Commonwealth and of this country. Okay, today I think we have 3 reporters on the line, all virtual, and then 1 and or 2 questions that have been sent in. So if we can go to Karen Czar.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor. Governor, I have 2, if you have time. The first is, do you have a reaction to the Supreme Court's ruling this morning over Alabama's congressional maps, saying that they violated the Voting Rights Act? And do you think this has any implications for Kentucky? And if you have time, could you give your reaction to Senator Wise's criticism over the Kentucky Department of Education's reading of Senate Bill 150? Thank you.
Karen, I have not had a chance to read the South Carolina case, but it's really important that voters elect leaders. Voters elect representatives and senators and representatives don't choose their voters. The sad fact with the data and the tools today is that people can use redistricting as a way to entrench themselves and not provide for the betterment of our people. They tear communities apart. I don't know how many different ways that Warren County was divided up into the city of Bowling Green. We should just be looking at the right types of maps that will provide the best representation for cities and for counties, and stop worrying about the number of D's versus R's that come out of it. And the sad part is, there could have been a fair process. They could have used a fair process this last time, and there'd still probably be a supermajority in the next set of elections. Think about the number of individuals that were there that met the supermajority were based on the last set of maps. So there's a difference between getting greedy on a number of seats and doing the best thing for your people. In the end, democracy is best served, again, when voters select their leaders and not the other way around. I have seen some of the reports and statements on Senate Bill 150. This is what happens when you get in such a rush either to attack me or a group of kids that you give 7 minutes of notice before a committee hearing. You plop down what is virtually a brand new bill and make people vote on it without reading it. Then you rush it to the floor and make people vote on it without reading it, and then concur in another chamber without reading it. So it is no surprise to me that there is at least one mistake in that bill. The way our legislative process is supposed to work is the bills are posted. There is notice of days before a committee hearing on what would be there. The public gets to read it and weigh in, and certainly all our legislators should have the chance and the time to read a bill they are voting on. The last thing I'd say is we have a phrase, the letter of the law, for a reason. It's what's on paper that they pass. It's the statute that's put in the books. And we have to follow that and not just what's in somebody's head or what they meant. So again, this is a process issue. Regardless of how you feel on this specific bill, a 7-minute notice and voting on something that no one has read is not good government. Okay, Matt Wilson, WTVQ.
Thank you, Governor. So I kind of had the same question along the lines of what Karen said about Senate Bill 150 and how the wording of the bill is kind of misleading with using the word or instead of and. So I guess the way that I can kind of spin this is, what are your thoughts on how it could affect teachers who are trying to build up their curriculums, and how this could be sort of a way that they could get in trouble if they don't follow the correct form of the law in this bill?
Well, listen, if you pass a law saying you can do this or that, it's a lot different than you pass a law saying you must do this and that. And whether or not it was intentional or unintentional, it is the law that they passed. And we can't read a law having different words in it than what is actually on the paper that they vote on and that they ultimately pass. This is what happens. Again, when you shield a law from the public, it's exactly what happened with the sewer bill. Not letting anybody read it or comment on it, not allowing legislators to read it and rushing it through. My bet is that there is more than just that one mistake in that bill. You shouldn't rush a process that's supposed to be deliberative just to try to create either a political attack or, for that matter, to pick on a group of already marginalized kids. Natalia Martinez from WAVE. Do we have Natalia? All right, I've got her. I think the question that she asks is regarding the Gavin Perkins case, a man found incompetent to stand criminal trial for the murder of his mother. The question is, have I had any involvement, and can we intervene to prevent Perkins' release to the general public? My understanding is that the Jefferson County Commonwealth Attorney has filed a civil proceeding today to try to prevent that release, and we are monitoring that very closely. Listen, a family that's lost someone they love to violence, the scariest thing must be thinking that individual is going to be released. I think this is a complicated legal situation, but I am glad that the Jefferson County Commonwealth Attorney's Office has taken that step, and now we'll see what happens in those hearings. And finally, Mark Vanderhoff, do I support the Disaster Assistance Simplification Act, federal legislation to streamline the assistance application process And can I talk about what I witnessed with the application process that I found frustrating in the wake of tornadoes and flooding? I support anything that is going to create an easier process for our people to get help after times of natural disasters. Listen, FEMA, in many ways, has had requirements put on it by Congress that are just too hard for our people to meet. You can't give somebody a serial number on your washing machine when it's gone, never to be found again. You don't have documentation when all of your documents are gone because either a tornado destroyed every part of your home or the floodwaters swept it away. We need a process that is faster. And in many ways, we made a lot of those changes, pushing FEMA, working with FEMA during the course, especially of the flooding. During the course of the flooding, for the first time, I believe, in FEMA history, they gave authority for people on the ground to make final determinations. One of the major problems was we had people on the ground that said, yes, this should be enough. We want to help. And then it went up to what I'd call a decision-making center, a call center of people that weren't looking our people in the eye. And they were just looking at paperwork, deciding if people were going to get dollars and how much. It has to be on the ground decision-making. And we got to make it easier on these families. I mean, I get the paperwork that's involved, but if you're with FEMA and you go out to where someone's house used to be and there is nothing left and your maximum award is $37,900, surely you can write that check right there. It's not even close to what the home's worth, much less what's in it. It's all about common sense and empowering FEMA to use common sense. And then you look on the back end, we're going to be getting CDBG DR funding for the flooding faster than we've ever seen, anyone has ever seen, but still it's taking too long. There are requirements on the places that we're going to use that funding, that we have a full NEPA survey done. That takes months, and it's going to take away from some of the building season that we have. So there are these requirements that have been put into law by people that have never been through this and never been on the ground helping people through this. Listen, I believe everybody wants to help, but we've created so much bureaucracy, so many requirements, worried so much about fraud that we're telling, 100 people who deserve help no, so that one person who's undeserving doesn't get that help. That's not what my faith and my values teach me, and it's not how we ought to operate that program. If this bill helps us to help our people faster, will help us in the next natural disaster, then I'm all for it. All right, today was a long one. Thank y'all very much. We'll see you again next Thursday.